Hello everybody. Welcome to my channel. Welcome. In today's video we're going to talk about names. So, I don't know about you, if it happened to you before, but when I give my name, which is Bernarda, people don't know how to pronounce it. They say Bernarda, they say Vernita, they say Bernard, they forget about the A. But my name is actually Bernarda. So I thought today was going to be a good video to show you some common names that you're gonna encounter if you meet someone that has a Hispanic name. So I created this video with a few names and a few last names that might help you pronounce it correctly. And we're gonna start with male names, common male names in Spanish. And the first one I have here for you is Juan. 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 Juan in English is a little different. The name is John. Juan is John. Juan. Second name, I have Jose. Jose. Very common also. Jose. The meaning of Jose is Joseph. Jose. Okay. The third name I have for you is Carlos. 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 Have you heard about this one? The translation in English is Charles. Carlos means Charles in English. Then, number 4, I have one that is actually hard for me to pronounce in English. In Spanish is Luis. Luis. Very simple. Luis. In English is very similar and it's Louis. 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 Luis is Louis. Okay. Number 5. The name we have Miguel. 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 Number 5 is Miguel. Have you heard this name before? In English, it's very, very common, and the name is Michael. Michael. Now, Michael is a very common name in Spanish too by itself, and many people call their kids Michael, but they mispronounce them and they write it very different, and some of them call it Michael, but the actual translation is Miguel. Miguel means Michael. Okay, number 6. Number 6 we have Pedro. Pedro. Pedro is the Spanish name. Have you met any Pedro in your life? Have you heard about this name? Pedro in English is Peter. Peter. Now, this is also the same. There are many people that are called Peter and in Spanish, and they ended up pronouncing it when they spell it just like in English. They call them Peter. Peter. And that's just the way it is. Number 7, we have Antonio. 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 This is very similar to the English name. It's Anthony. Anthony. Antonio means Anthony. Alright. Number 8, we have Francisco. 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 Francisco in English is Francis. Francis. Francisco is Francis. Very good. Number 9, we have a very common name, Andres. 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 This one, the translation is Andrew. Andrew. This is also a name very common in Spanish. Andrew. Andres means Andrew. And then number 10, we have Mateo. Mateo. Mateo means Matthew. This is also another name that people love to use it in English as well as in Spanish. So we have Mateo and Matthew. In Spanish, we would say John, Michael, Peter, Andrew, Matthew. That's how it's pronounced in Spanish, those names. But then in overall, we have Juan as John, Jose as Joseph, Carlos, Charles, Luis, Louis, Miguel, Michael, Pedro, Peter, Antonio, Anthony, Francisco, Francis, Andres, Andrew, Mateo, Matthew. These are the male names. Okay, let's go now with female names. Is this interesting to you? Have you heard any person with those names? I know it's very tricky to say the right name sometimes. You don't want to offend anybody, so it's good to know. Now for females, female names. Female names, the first one. These are common female names in Spanish. The first one is Maria, very common in Spanish. Maria. Maria. And Maria means Mary. Maria is Mary. Maria has an accent there. Maria means Mary. Okay. Number 2. Number 2 we have Anna. Very common name too. Anna. Anna in English is written and it has many variations, but the actual meaning of Anna is Anna. Anna. Anna means Anna. Okay. Then number 3 we have Raquel. Raquel. This one I would say is not that common, but I have seen many Raquels. Raquel. Raquel in English is Rachel. Rachel. Raquel means Rachel. Rachel. Raquel means Rachel. Number four we have Julieta. Very common lately. This became very popular lately, Julieta. And the translation is Juliet. Julieta. Okay, number five. And number five, I have Alicia. Alicia in the Wonderland is Alice. Alicia is Alice. Okay. Then we have number six, Inés. This is very interesting. I didn't know until I was doing this video. Inés translates to Agnes. And I've met many Agnes in here, but I didn't know that the exact meaning in Spanish is Inés. My aunt's name is Inés, so I grew up knowing this name in my country. Number seven, we have Lucia. Also very common name, Lucia. Lucia is popular in Spanish and in English too. I've seen many Lucy's. Lucia means Lucy. That's the translation. Lucia. Okay, number eight is Elena. I think this is a beautiful name for some reason. I like it. And the translation is Helen. Elena translates to Helen. Elena. Helen. And then we have 9, Gabriela. Gabriela translates to Gabrielle. Gabriela translates to Gabrielle. Okay, Gabriela is Gabrielle. And then we have some very similar one. A similar name is Daniela. Daniela translates to Danielle. And these are the names we have for females. Is Maria, Mary, Ana, Anna, Raquel, Rachel, Julieta, Juliet, Alicia, Alice, Inés, Agnes, Lucia, Lucy, Elena, Helen, Gabriela, Gabrielle, Daniela, Danielle. In Spanish, many people use Mary as Mary and they are called Mari. Anna, many people choose to put it with 2 N's just because, and they call it Anna. And then the others, Lucy is also very common in Spanish. Lucy by itself instead of Lucia. And that is the way it is. Some are Maria, some are Mari. At the end, names can be changed the way parents want. So this is very, very interesting. The next category is a category for biblical names. Biblical names many people prefer to use. So the first one I have is Adán. Adán. Adán usually has accent there. Adán. Adán in English is Adam. Now, for me, it's very difficult when I read the Bible because names in English are difficult, and that's why I prefer my Bible in Spanish. So if you like to practice your Spanish with your Bible, it's good to know that Adán is Adam, or Adam is Adán. Okay, and then number 2, we have Eva. 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 Eva translates to Eve. Eva is Eve. Okay. Then number 3, we have Abraham. So we have Abraham. Since we don't pronounce the H, this is Abraham. Abraham. We forget completely about the H. In English, we say Abraham. You notice the difference? In Spanish, we say Abraham. In English, even though we write the same way, we say Abraham. 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 Okay? Very interesting. And then we have number 4. We have Isaac. In Spanish, we say Isaac. Isaac. We just take a little longer in the A, probably, or some just say Isaac and they just remove one A. Isaac in English is Isaac. 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 Okay. And then we have number 5, the name Jacob. So some people say Jacob, some people say Jacobo with an O at the end, Jacob. But the actual name is actually Jacob. And you can see many people with this name in my country, Jacob. And the translation is Jacob. Jacob. Okay, the next name, number 6, we have Moisés. 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 Moisés is not too common actually in Spanish. I see many people in English use it a little more. In English is Moses. Moisés. Moisés. Moses. Okay. And then we have number 7. Number 7 we have David. 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 The translation for David is David. 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 Okay. The next name is Elias. 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 Elias has a very, very beautiful translation. I love the translation. And he's Elijah. Elijah. Elias means Elijah. Elias means Elijah. Elijah. Very good. Then, number 9, we have Ezequias. 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 Ezequias is also very interesting how it translates. I like it a lot. Ezequias is Ezekiel. Ezekiel. Ezequias. Ezekiel. Okay. And the last one, very beautiful too. I like this name a lot. Is Noe. 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 Very little. Noe. Noe in English is Noah. Noe in English is Noah. Okay. So for biblical names, we have Adán, which is Adam, Eva, which is Eve, Abraham, which is Abraham, Isaac, which is Isaac, Jacob, which is Jacob, Moises, which is Moses, David, which is David, Elias, which is Elijah, Ezekias, which is Ezekiel, Noe, which is Noah. So these are the biblical names, not very common, but still very, very used. So let me know how you're doing. Have you heard these names before? Is there any biblical name that you would like to know in Spanish or English? There are names that are very complicated in both languages. Then we have royal and historic Spanish names. So here, royal and historic names. And for these, we can start with number 1, Felipe. 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 Have you heard this name before? Felipe. In English, Felipe means Philip. Felipe, Philip. Felipe, Philip. Okay. Number 2, we have Alfonso. 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 And then the meaning in English, we can say Alphonse. Not a very common name. Alphonse. Alfonso means Alphonse. Okay. Number 3, we have Enrique. 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 Enrique in English is Henry. Enrique means Henry. Henry. Enrique is Henry. Okay. Then we have number 4. Number 4, we have Ricardo. 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 Ricardo in English is a Richard. Ricardo. Richard. Ricardo is Richard. Number 5. We have for number 5 Guillermo. Guillermo. Guillermo in English is William. William. Although many people use William as a name in Spanish too, is William, William, very similar, but the actual translation is Guillermo. Guillermo. Okay. Then we have Number 6. Number 6 we have Carolina. 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 Carolina is very common in Spanish countries, and we usually call this name Caro. Caro. But the whole name is Carolina. And Carolina in English is Caroline. Very similar. Caroline. Carolina means Caroline. Okay. Then we have Isabel. Isabel. Now, I know that in English, Isabel, if you add the L and the E at the end, is the translation, but the actual translation from Isabel is Elizabeth. Elizabeth. That's the actual translation. Now, I know many people have used Isabel and just add the L and the E at the end, and that's also an English very common name, but this is the actual translation. Isabel, Elizabeth. Okay, and then we have number 8 is Juana. 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 Have you heard this name before? In English is a very, very common, and is Joanna. Juana means Joanna in English. Juana, Joanna. Juana, Joanna. Okay. Number 9. Number 9 we have Catalina. 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 Catalina in English is Catherine. Some people write it with a C, others write it with a K, but the name is Catherine Catalina. In Spanish, Catalina. Okay, this is a royal and historic name. And number 10, then the last one, we have Constanza. Constanza. It's not very common, but I've seen many people lately use this name. Constanza. Constanza in English is Constance. Constanza is Constance. Constanza. So, for royal and historic names, we have Felipe, Philip, Alfonso, Alphonse, Enrique, Henry, Ricardo, Richard, Guillermo, William, Carolina, Caroline, Isabel, Elizabeth, Juana, Joanna, Catalina, Catherine, Constanza, Constance. Okay, very interesting, isn't it? Do you like any of those names? So, I can't believe how many names we actually have. It's very interesting. I'm about to have a nephew, and the decision of choosing a name is real. It's very difficult. So I wonder how is he gonna be called. This is very exciting. Okay, so the last category I have for you is about last names. Last names. So I know in English happens a lot too that some last names have meanings. So I put together here 10 last names that have meaning in Spanish. And let me know if you have heard about them. And the first one was actually my maiden last name, and it is Izquierdo. 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 Do you know what that means? Izquierdo means left. That was my maiden last name, and many people made fun of it in my country. Izquierdo means left. Derecho means right. Derecho is not a last name, at least not that I know, but izquierdo is. Then, number 2, we have toro. 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 Toro means bull. Toro. This one means bull. Toro. Okay. Okay. The next one I have is my sister-in-law maiden name, and is Granja. 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 Do you know what granja means? Granja means farm. I've heard the last name farmer, but I don't think I've heard the last name farm. In this case, it's actually granja, which means farm. Farmer in English would be granjero in Spanish, so that's different. And then we have number 4. Number 4 is flores. Flores. Last name Flores. Do you know what it means? Flores. This one means flowers. Flores means flowers. Flores means flowers. Okay. And then another very interesting last name is Iglesias. Julio Iglesias y Enrique Iglesias. They have their last name Iglesias, and Iglesias mean churches. Iglesias mean churches. Iglesias, churches. Okay. And then number 6, another interesting last name is Salas. 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 The last name Salas means halls or rooms. Salas. Salas. Okay. The next one is puente. Do you know what puente means? Puente. Puente. Have you heard about this last name? Have you heard this word? Puente. Okay. Puente means bridge. Puente means bridge. Okay. Then we have another animal, and that is león. 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 This one means lion. León means lion. So that's that. And then number 9 we have paredes. 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 Paredes means walls. Paredes means walls. Walls. Paredes. Walls. Okay, and the last one I have is delgado. Delgado. The last name delgado is very common actually, and delgado means thin or slim. Delgado. So these are the very interesting last names that have a meaning in Spanish. So we start with izquierdo, which means left, toro, which means bull, granja, which means farm, flores, which mean flowers, iglesias, which means churches, salas, which means halls or rooms, puente, which means bridge, león, which means lion, paredes, which means walls, and delgado, which means thin or slim. Thin or slim. And these are the last names. And the last category I have for Spanish names. Do you happen to know any person? Any person, or have you heard these names before? So, in this part, as a bonus, I'm just gonna mention a few of the last names that are very, very common in Spanish. Last names. So this list of last names, they don't have meaning, but they are very common, and you may find, or you may have some friends with these last names, and they are Ruiz, González, Ramírez, Pérez, López, Jiménez, Rodríguez, we have Martínez, there's also Gómez, Álvarez, we have Díaz, we have Hernández, we have Quiñones, we also have Sanchez, and we have Gutierrez. So these are the bonus last names because as soon as you see them, you know they are Hispanic last names, and they read like this: Ruiz, González, Ramírez, Pérez, López, Jiménez, Rodríguez, Martínez, Gómez, Álvarez, Díaz, Hernández, Quiñones, Sánchez, Gutiérrez. Again, we have Ruiz, González, Ramírez, Pérez, López, Jiménez, Rodríguez, Martínez, Gómez, Álvarez, Díaz, Hernández, Quiñones, Sánchez, Gutiérrez. Do you know anyone with a last name like that? Is your last name one of these? Now, there's also a fun fact. This last name, written like this, means days. So this one has the meaning Díaz with Z is usually the last name. Díaz with S means days. The rest, they don't really have a meaning and they are just very common. Okay, so that was my interesting fact with the bonus last names. Let me know how did you do, if you liked it, if you know any of these names or last names. If you like this video, please comment, like, and subscribe. That will help me a lot. As always, muchas gracias. I hope you enjoyed this video and you found that interesting. Let me know if you want me to do more videos like this. I would really appreciate if you like and subscribe. I'm almost hitting my 1000 subscribers. I really appreciate that. And well, I hope you're having sweet dreams, and I'll see you on my next video. Goodbye.